Hi girls. All right, I'm back to do our club talk. And tonight we're going to be focusing on how Jesus offers us freedom from our suffering, not just physical suffering, but also emotional suffering, and how he gives us hope and peace for our future. I just loved that video from American Idol that Angie Miller was in, and that song that she wrote. I printed out those lyrics and I just wanted to read some of them to you because I wondered if they resonated with you as much as they resonated with me. It says, "You find me here alone. I hear a voice that's so unknown. It strikes courage up my backbone, strength in my heart, a life set apart. I see that's what you are." You've been set apart. You have been chosen to be the mom to this precious baby. You have been chosen to be a part of this community. And he gives us that strength and that courage. And that's one of the many things I love about Young Lives is that we don't have to do this alone. You have Jesus and you have us. And so, yeah, those lyrics, I love those lyrics. And it just really resonated with me, especially when I was a bit younger. I think most of you, I think I've shared before that I don't have a great relationship with my parents, even now. Especially when I was younger, I was the girl that was really great at looking the part of having the great grades and the good friends and all that. But underneath it all, I was actually really lonely and trying to fill this void that I didn't know then, which was trying to fill this void and just constantly feeling empty inside. And I was in middle school, it looked like trying to be with the popular crowd, running after boys. In high school, it was trying to be in the popular crowd, running after boys. After high school, it was running after boys with some alcohol and drugs mixed in. And I would love to tell you that after I had my son as a teenager, that my whole life changed, but it didn't. I was still looking to fill that emptiness inside and just got myself in some really dangerous situations. And like I said before, I was suffering. I was suffering from loneliness. I was suffering from shame. I was suffering from fear. And we don't have to live that way. We have hope in Jesus. He changed everything for me. He changed everything for our mentors, and he can change everything for you. And so tonight's story, we're actually going to be talking about a woman in the Bible who was suffering physically and spiritually and was desperate for Jesus's touch. Now, the story is in the book of Mark. I'll give you a little backstory. The book of Mark was actually written by a guy named John Mark, and he's writing about Jesus. Jesus had already come to earth. He was performing a lot of miracles because people were really questioning who he was. We're going to read about one of those miracles tonight. In this particular story, there's two miracles. There's a dying girl, and then there's a woman who was sick and needed healing. And we're going to focus on the sick woman who gets healed. So I'm going to start reading in Mark chapter 5, verse 23. And it says, this is after the ruler was begging Jesus to come and heal his daughter. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live. So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all that she had, yet instead of getting better, she actually got worse. I wonder who we go to sometimes when we need to get better and it actually makes us feel worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body, and she was freed from her suffering. At once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding around you," his disciples answered, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. And then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, trembling with fear, told him the whole truth, And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." So let's look at 3 ways that Jesus interacts with her. He rewarded her faith. He called her out to acknowledge her faith and tell her that she was healed. He healed her not just physically, but he healed her spiritually because he said she had peace. A couple key points that we can look at is that she believed if she could just touch his clothes, she would be healed. Can you imagine that desperation where you're just wanting a touch? If I'm honest, for a long time, I wasn't really sure I believed that for myself. If it was only after I gave him my heart that I fully had that healing spiritually and had that peace. She came to Jesus trembling in fear and told him the whole truth. It's scary to tell someone your whole story, especially in front of a large crowd. If anyone knows the depths of our heart, it is God, because he made us. Now, Jesus is the perfect picture of who God is. God came to earth so he could heal us from our brokenness so that we can have that peace. Now, Jesus then repeated to her that she had believed in her heart and she was healed. If she believed it, yet never touched his clothes, see, there's an action. You can believe, but you have to make the choice to actually touch him, right? None of this would have happened if she never did. It is difficult to get close to Jesus with our suffering. A lot of times we can make the choice to stay in our suffering, not because it feels good, not because we like it there, but because it is comfortable. We don't have to stay in our suffering. He wants to heal us, give us peace so that we don't have to look anywhere else that will leave us feeling empty inside. So I'm going to ask a couple of reflective questions. I'm going to play a song, and I really want us to press in to choose that action, to step out. Let's tell the truth. Let's come to, not because we're here to judge, not because we want to know what's going on in your life, but because I do believe that if we bring things to the light, it will no longer be in the darkness. And so my first reflective question is, what is something that is easy to do that fills that empty feeling inside? We all have it. There's all mentors, older, younger, doesn't matter. We all can tend to fill this void with something. What is that something? And the second question is, what choices can we make going forward to grow into the woman and mom that God has set us apart to be? Okay, so what is something that's easy to do to fill that empty feeling inside? And then what is a choice that we can make going forward to grow into the woman and the mom that God has set us apart to be? Let's be women that push each other. I'm here cheerleading you on. All of our mentors are. We love you. And let's dive into this question during our song tonight.